And we're live. Hi, everybody.
Hey everyone.
Let me make sure that our tweet went out. I had it scheduled. Yes, we are live. I see us on Twitter.
Yep, we got 4 people. We got 5. We got 6.
Five.
No, we're
Oh,
losing
you
them. We're
you
losing. Oh,
scared
I'm
them.
sorry. I didn't mean to scare you away. Come back. Come back. Number is slowly climbing.
Derek, hi.
Hi,
What's
Derek.
up? Michael.
Michael, as always, thank you.
The early birds are here again. Let's see. We're starting to climb. We have one person on YouTube. Hello, one person.
Hi.
Hi. Rodney, good evening to you too, sir. Drew Myers, what is up?
Hi, Drew.
How is everybody doing? You guys good? You had a good weekend?
Has everyone done their food shopping yet for Thanksgiving?
Oh, jeez.
Because if you're not prepped, like you got to start defrosting that turkey like tomorrow.
I
Really, if
know.
it's frozen and you're gonna defrost it in a fridge, you better be starting now.
Hi, Figment. Thanks for coming. Laureen, hi. All Gaming, what's up? Matthew,
Matthew,
hi from England. What time is it
hello
over
over
there?
there.
Isn't it late? Like late, late?
Um, it would be coming up on midnight there, right?
Oh, staying up. Yes, we're gonna talk about it.
No, probably closer to 2 a.m. I think. Aren't they about 5 hours ahead, something like that? I know.
Goodness.
I hear the 5 a.m. BBC World Service at midnight on local radio. So
Mm. All right, well, we have almost 60 people in here. Shall we get started?
let's do it.
All right, in three, two. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 62 of the Attractions Podcast. I'm Brittany,
And I'm Seth.
and we are here to talk to you about the latest and greatest theme park news and more, as well as what's going on in our own lives. So, Seth, how have you been this week?
I've had a great week. Thank you so much for asking. I got to celebrate Life Day over at Disney's Hollywood Studios. I ran into our editor in chief, Matt, there, and we got to visit Batu together on that very important Wookiee holiday. I even adopted a new member of the family, which we'll
Oh,
talk about a little later when we
okay.
get to the news. But I've also this week got to go and experience something called Jolly Creek, which is down at Boggy Creek Airboats in Kissimmee. This is the same place that had a drive-through haunted experience during Halloween. And this time they are not doing a drive-through, but they're doing a walk-around Christmas experience. It includes a socially distanced Santa Claus and lights. Um, but the best part about it is it has the Grand Floridian Orchestra, or at least
Ooh,
the people
yes.
who used to be the Grand Floridian Orchestra before they were all unfortunately laid off and
Yeah.
the group disbanded by Disney. But they are playing their holiday tunes now down in Kissimmee at Jolly Creek. We had a really good time. It's a long drive. If you're downtown, it's going to take you like an hour to get there. But we actually really thought it was worth it. It was a lot of fun. It's kind of homemade, old-fashioned Christmas feeling, and I really had a great time.
Oh, I
Eh,
love like the local Christmas things.
yeah, totally. And what about your week?
I played a lot of PlayStation.
So the we can say the PS5 is thoroughly broken in.
Yes, I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's fine. It's no
It's
God of
fine.
War or anything. A lot of it is very buggy still. Um,
Mm,
and I also found out that on the PlayStation 5, if you purchase, because we have the digital one, so we have to buy all of our games digitally.
mm.
If you purchase a game that's cross generation, so it's on PS4 and PS5, you have to make sure you have it set to play the PS5 version because it won't do it automatically. And I
Mm.
played like my first like 6 hours of Assassin's Creed
Uh,
with the PlayStation 4 version, and then I turned on the PS5 version, and it was like such a huge
so
difference.
So at least, I mean, that's a way you can really see what you're paying for with the PS5 hardware. You can see the difference in the
Exactly.
generations. But the Xbox, at least they make the transition pretty seamless. They
Yeah.
kind of automatically upgrade your files.
Yeah, and then I played Astro's Playroom, which is like a tech demo, but it feels like so much more than a tech demo. It was
Mm.
bundled with the consoles to demonstrate how the haptics work in the controller, and it is insane. There's like a sandstorm, and you feel like the little particles of sand in your controller. There's ice skating, and you can hear the sounds of your skates on the ice. Um, oh, it was just so much fun, and it's a platformer too. And for I usually get really angry when I play platformers because it's just so easy to get frustrated with them. But I actually managed to get through the whole thing in a day, and it was super fun. I had a great time.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I was very proud.
Have you played Miles Morales yet? That's
I watched Josh play that one. I haven't played it myself yet,
that
but I did swing around New York for a little bit.
that's the one game that would push me to finally jump over to Sony,
You would
away
have to
from Microsoft.
you have to play the first one too if you can. That, in my opinion, is like the best Spider-Man movie we're never gonna get. It's so good.
Right.
But that's pretty much all I did this week.
That sounds like
We
a solid
yeah,
week.
and then
That
we started training Brody with a trainer, but that's not super exciting. It's more stressful, but whatever. But I suppose with all of that, let's get into the news.
taking the hit.
I have no idea how tempted I am to hit the goat screaming video. It's still in my feed, and I want to do it so bad, but I'm scared I will.
That's a break glass in case of emergency clip. That's when things go really off the rails. We pull that one out.
Yeah. If you guys misbehave, I pull out the screaming goat. This is just a little quick thing I wanted to share before we got started. So Disney and celebrity chef Roy Choi did a collab for Friendsgiving where they went to local pizza joints in various cities like New York, Chicago, and Austin. And I actually got one of these pizzas. Each pizza is themed to one of the Disney friends, Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, Daisy, and Pluto. And I got the mini pizza, and it had like a cheesy bow on it. It was kind of like a margarita pizza, but the red sauce was very sweet. Like it was like a dessert pizza in a way,
Mm,
if that makes sense, but still savory. It was really yummy. It came in this cool box, and it came with some stickers. So that was
fun.
like it was a one day only kind of deal, but I just wanted to share.
I always have to wonder how much work, how much effort and money goes into some of these one day pop-ups that
Yeah.
unless you're really tuned into like Disney social media, you probably had no clue that this happened.
Yeah, Matt told me about it, and then I was like, "Oh man, there's a home slice a block over from my house." It turns out it was only at one home slice in Austin. There are many, and it was the one on South Congress near downtown. So I had to go downtown to pick it up. But it wasn't anything special beyond it. I just called and got the pizza. They didn't have like a booth or anything out, but still cool and definitely tasty. Over at Six Flags Magic Mountain in California, even though they can't open the park just yet, they're offering a drive through holiday experience for families looking to get out of the house this Christmas. This socially distant experience will take you through 8 different themed areas across the park's 125 acres, including Rockin' Universe in DC Universe, Mary Lane in Metropolis, the Underground, Winter Wonderland, Holiday Square, Snowy Nights, North Pole Plaza, and Gleampunk District, which I want to know what that means because I think of
I
like
know what steampunk is, but I'm not. Maybe it's
Gleam.
steampunk with lots of blinking lights.
Maybe I want to know what Gleampunk is. But guests can see choreographed Christmas lights if you are familiar with the standard drive-through holiday experience. You'll know what you're getting here, as well as a socially distanced meet and greet with Santa, Mrs. Claus, and their elves.
I personally, one of my favorite holiday things is the sweet lights that Hershey, Pennsylvania does outside of Hershey Park every year.
Oh,
And so the idea of actually driving through a theme park with all the lights on, as opposed to like just around it, that would be pretty amazing. I think the interesting thing about this is the pricing. They've
yeah.
structured it so that you are paying per person, not per car, but you have to have a minimum of two people in your car. I guess no solo driver. It's like the HOV lanes. Maybe that's to cut down on the traffic there in the Los Angeles area. But I guess if you're all by yourself, it'll be hard to socially distance. Maybe you could have a crash test dummy and you could pay for them in the
Yeah.
passenger seat.
Do like a onward with the dad. Just like have a stuffed
Just the
person.
half of them.
Right. Just legs. Put the legs in the passenger seat.
You know, they released a map for this, and it looks like you're really going to get to see a good chunk of the park. You're basically looping through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think if I was there and I had that opportunity, that's one that I would definitely check out.
One of my favorite holiday experiences from childhood, I grew up in Southwest Virginia, and in my town, there was a NASCAR speedway. And every Christmas, they would set up a kind of similar to this, a drive through Christmas lights thing called Speedway and Lights. And I love
Hmm.
doing that every year. So if I had one of those around me like this, I'd definitely have to go check it out, at least for nostalgia's sake. Were you going to say something?
Nope.
Oh, I heard you go. But if you would like to go experience this for yourself and you're in the California area, it started on November 20th. It is November 22nd when we're recording this, November 23rd when you're listening. And it runs on select dates through January 3rd, 2021.
And
We're
it looks like
almost,
if you are in New Jersey or near Six Flags Great America, those parks are also going to be doing some holiday events.
neato. I can't believe we're talking about holiday. I feel like 2 weeks ago we were talking about Halloween.
We
I
skipped Thanksgiving this year. No
We skipped
Thanksgiving.
no Thanksgiving.
It's
Uh,
probably healthier to skip Thanksgiving, to be
Honestly,
honest.
yeah, the turkey sleepies. That's probably the worst part.
I was thinking more of, super spreader events, but yes,
Oh well, that too.
the
Well,
turkey, the tryptophan is also. Don't eat turkey and drive because it could.
oh, I didn't even think about that. Well, last week was Mickey Mouse's 92nd birthday,
Happy
and
birthday, Mickey. You don't look
happy.
a day over 90.
That's so nice. And to celebrate, even though Disneyland is still currently closed, they basically refurbed the statue, the partner statue out in front of the castle, back to its original grandeur.
I'm
That's
gonna
what they
have to
said.
dig through my photos to see if I have one from the beginning of this year to remember exactly what it looked like before. Um, but hopefully, this new refurbishment will keep it looking nice and bronzy for many years to come.
Yeah, I haven't been since 2017. That was the only time I've ever been. But I don't remember it looking bad. I I don't know.
Well, I'm sure that if nothing else, Mickey and Walt's feet had plenty of marks from people reaching over the railing and rubbing them.
Yes, of
This is why we
course.
can't have nice things.
It's like
Uh,
people who go and touch Hitchcock's nose at Universal Hollywood for good luck.
Exactly.
They also refurbed the storyteller statue over at DCA, which you can see now because Buena Vista Street is open to guests for shopping and
Yes.
dining.
Might have to wait in a long line in order to see
Ooh.
that. I know on the first day, people were lined up by 6 a.m. There was already pretty substantial crowd.
Yeah, I watched a couple of vlogs where the theme park people went and it was like 7 o'clock and they were like, people have been here since 4. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yep. It might have
That's
been more
so
people than were
early.
lined up for the opening of Star Wars Land in California.
Ooh.
Oh, too
uh,
soon, too soon.
Too soon. All right, Walt Disney World, there is a cast appreciation marketplace pop-up coming starting December 7th over at ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex, where cast members can get up to 75% off, along with some other special surprises that Disney will have in store. So if you're a cast member or you're friends with a cast member, let them know to get your Christmas presents here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm certain there's going to be a lot of demand for that because we saw when the cast member pantry reopened that has deeply discounted merchandise and food for cast members. People were lined up down the highway for that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure this is going to be popular. And now that the NBA is gone, ESPN Wide World of Sports needs something to do, right?
Yeah. Unless they bring, I don't know, tennis in the
Tennis.
spring. Registration, you have to register to experience this marketplace pop up if you are a cast member. So head to the hub on November 23rd, which is today, if you're listening to the audio version, and sign up and let us know if they got any good stuff in there.
But don't put it on eBay.
No, don't
Not
put
cool.
it. Don't be one of those people. Don't be one of those people. Now,
I mean, unless you
this,
need it to make the rent. If you're a cast
Right,
member
yeah.
who's been furloughed, your hours have been cut, and you need to make the rent, go for it. Like, be the eBay pirate. I don't care. You have my permission. But,
Yeah. we'll turn a blind eye.
yeah.
Over at Universal City Walk Hollywood, as that park is also not allowed to open just yet, they've started serving butterbeer in City Walk, a first for the
Yeah.
park.
This is actually kind of a big deal for them to be selling the official butterbeer outside the gates of the Wizarding World. Previously, the only place that I knew that you could get it outside of the actual lands in the theme parks would be the studio tour in like London.
Yeah,
And even there, they'll ship you a bottle of butterbeer, but only if you live in the UK.
I remember
Um,
that.
but this is the first like takeout. Like I remember trying to buy a cup of butterbeer and get it out to my car and drive it home. Didn't never work. But here at least you're in City Walk. You're like halfway to the parking garage, so you might make it depending on LA traffic.
So I have a question for you then.
Yes.
What do they do if you try to walk out of the park with it? Do they make you throw it away?
Oh no!
Or
I'm just saying that I've never been. It's like a Tootsie Roll pop. You never know how many licks it takes to get to the center because you bite it. So I've never
Okay.
I've never been Sorry, I'm the butterbeer's not making it all the way home. It's not going to happen.
Totally understandable.
Yeah,
But this
but they've got the hot, they've got the frozen, and they've got the cold.
And both ice creams, the hard pack and the soft serve? Or wait, no, just the hard pack.
Yeah, and
And
anyone who orders all of them and consumes them all, I more power to you.
you might go into a sugar coma.
Yeah, for sure.
They also have a few chocolate frog
Mm-hmm.
sweets. I don't know what that entails, but the chocolate frogs are huge. They're like as big as your face,
Yeah.
if they're the ones in the parks.
And honestly, that they're milk chocolate and they're just okay. You're really
Yeah.
buying those for the collectible cards.
Right?
Yeah.
But this is huge. The location is in the former home of a quick service restaurant called Ludo Bird that had fried chicken sandwiches.
Yeah, I'm probably the only person who thought that Ludo Bird wasn't bad. It was kind of like a Chick-fil-A sandwich without the political drama. So it was a
Yeah.
chicken sandwich I could not feel guilty about eating. But apparently I was the only one because no one seems to be mourning the loss of Ludo Bird City Walk. I'm sorry.
I didn't even know it existed
Yeah.
until Matt told me about it for this.
We hardly knew ye.
We hardly knew ye. You can also get churros and gilly water, which is just bottled water with a Harry Potter label on it. As souvenir signs, just like in the park. All good. And here are the prices. If you are watching the video version, butterbeer is $8, no matter
Mm.
hot, frozen, or cold. You
And you
get
know,
it.
I'm reminded by someone in the chat. Just today, Los Angeles has restricted all inside dining. You can only do
Oh,
takeout or drive-through now. So this new butterbeer window is one of the few things that's perfectly set up. You can get your butterbeer to go. Drink it socially distanced.
yes. It will be open on weekends, Friday through Sunday, during the regular City Walk operating hours of
Hmm.
noon to 8 p.m. And they have free self parking, whereas Downtown Disney recently installed their $10 parking fee.
Yep.
Some good news over at Hong Kong Disneyland, they finally unveiled that massive, massive castle.
It's ginormous.
It is so big.
You know, and it would be one thing if the Main Street USA in Hong Kong was scaled up a little like the one in Walt Disney World is, but the Main Street is the tiny one identical to California.
Yeah.
So that castle just towers over everything.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean I think now that it's done and the scaffolding's better down and everything that I'm getting used to it. But it's a big change, that's for sure.
Uh-huh. Good Morning America posted a cool, I don't know if this was their original video, but they posted a time lapse of the entire construction from start to finish.
Oh, neat.
That was super cool, but it's exhausting to watch.
So, have we seen more details of what is actually inside all of that new structure? Is there anything other? I know that there's like a treasure chest with guests' wishes and stuff up
Yeah,
in
up
the
in,
very tallest tower.
yeah.
But I haven't heard anything about a restaurant or a shop or a walkthrough or anything that's actually up in the new portion of the building. Am I?
There they released a couple of photos of the inside. Like there's a tribute to the
Mm-hmm.
Sleeping Beauty fairies
Oh, that's
inside.
cool.
This is such a nondescript photo, like you have no idea what
No
is
idea.
inside. And this beautiful stained glass window that incorporates all the princesses who are represented with this castle.
Mhm.
And then a few weeks ago, we talked about a exhibit that is currently on display, but I don't know if this is inside the castle or not. But it is about building Disney castles.
Interesting.
And then there is a glimpse into the Magic Castle tour that's audio based, narrated by a celebrity in Hong Kong that you can take as well.
Ah, I'm curious to see how much of the actual structure guests walk through during that audio tour. If it's pretty much just on the base level, or if you're going up into it, um, sort of like you have the Sleeping Beauty walk through in California.
I love that.
I guess I'm gonna have to take a trip to Hong Kong if they ever let Americans back in and
Right?
find out for myself.
I'm gonna be combing YouTube after we finish
Yeah,
recording to see if someone's filmed
yeah,
inside
I
of there
filmed the
yet.
walkthrough yet, for sure.
Over at Universal Orlando, they are kicking the holidays into high gear with a new holiday VIP style tour, their first ever.
Yeah, it's an interesting grab bag
Yeah, that's a
of
great way
things
to
that are on
describe it.
this list. So this guided tour, first of all, it does not include admission, like all of Universal's VIP tours. So you have to have admission, and if you are an annual pass holder, you get a discount on it. And what you're going to get with it is you're going to get what they call priority access to the holiday experience featuring Macy's, which is a walk through past the balloons and the floats that would normally be used in the parade. You get a tour of the holiday tribute store. You get to meet and greet with the Grinch and in a special location, and you get a hot chocolate. And then you get an exclusive showing of the Nighttime Lights Christmas edition in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, plus some tchotchke to take home. Now, I ask you, Brittany, how
Yeah.
much would you pay for a fabulous package like this?
Best I can do is $5. No, I'm just kidding. um, Jeez. Honestly, not what they're asking for. There's no meal.
You
There's
are getting a hot cocoa bar, so depending on
wow.
how much hot chocolate you can guzzle, and whether there is liquor on that hot chocolate bar, that might make a difference for me, at least for a few dollars. Um, we break it down. Okay, priority access to the holiday experience. I went on the opening day of it. There were a lot of people there, excited to see it. Still only waited 5 minutes. And if the line gets more than 20 minutes or so, they have a virtual line option for it.
Yeah.
Okay, the
So
tribute
that's
store. Tribute store, I actually waited a little longer. I had to wait about 15 minutes to get into the tribute store. If you're there on a really busy holiday weekend, maybe this could be helpful.
what I would also want to know is, are you going to get like behind the scenes tidbits and
Right.
things
What does the
shared with
tour
you?
involve? Is it just
Yeah.
mean you're cutting the line and get to walk through, or is it one of the design? If this is like one of the haunted house walkthrough kind of things, where one of the designers from the visual merchandise department goes through and like explains stuff, that would be kind of cool. I'd
Yeah.
pay a few bucks for that. Um, Meet and greet with the Grinch. They're doing a great thing this year. You can go online and sign up. I only waited like less than 20 minutes for my meet and greet with the Grinch, and that's totally free for a reserved meet and greet with the Grinch this time. So you tell me how much hot cocoa was worth. In a theme park, probably $12 if it's got the
Oh,
extra
yeah.
marshmallow. Um, but here's the kicker.
Yeah.
End the night with an exclusive showing of the magic of Christmas at Hogwarts Castle. Now, I really like this show.
Same.
I think of the three Hogwarts shows, the Dark Arts is my favorite, but this
Ooh.
one's a close second. This one's really good. And here's the thing. If you look on Universal's schedule, they've updated the schedule for the week. They've got Cinematic Spectacular, the fountain show, over in the other park listed on 22nd through the 28th. But that whole week they say no showings of nighttime lights. So maybe when they say exclusive, they really mean exclusive, as in they're going to sweep the park of all regular day guests, and you're not going to be able to watch this unless you've got this VIP tour. Now,
Mm.
I think unless they are going to start this like an hour after the park would normally close, which would be difficult to explain to VIP guests that they're sticking around that late, especially when this is a daytime tour. Um, or really aggressively sweep guests out of the park. Maybe there'll be some viewing of this from Jurassic Park or from across the lagoon and port of entry. But I know it's going to be frustrating if the only way you can possibly see this show, for safety reasons, I can understand why they would organize it like that. But I'm not. I really feel for the security staff that's going to have to sweep regular guests out and tell them, no, you can't watch the lights. Sorry, keep
I
moving.
can already hear people complaining
Yeah.
about this in the distance.
This is going to be it's going to be really interesting to see how they handle it, because it's going to be a good indication of when it comes to summertime, if they think they're going to in the spring break or summer, if they're going to be able to bring back these kind of nighttime spectaculars, how they're going to handle it.
Yeah,
It
Disney doing the same too with the fireworks testing this past week.
Yeah, absolutely. How they're gonna, maybe everyone who wants to watch the fireworks is just gonna have to stand on the walkway that just opened from the Grand Floridian to Magic Kingdom, and everyone can have their own 6 foot. You can fit 100,000 people out there, no problem, because that's like 10 miles long.
Yeah. And then you'll see a small crowd of people
Yeah,
standing at the top of the Contemporary.
but I will be sad if there's no way I can see that nighttime lights show without dropping $50 on a VIP tour.
Would you though? Would you?
If
That's the real question here.
um Seth, as the journalist reporter who goes to things and then has a legitimate reason to expense them
Yeah.
might go. Seth, the not so wealthy private individual who is just got a new car payment to worry about, would probably not.
That's totally valid. Well, if you are interested, you can book this by calling a number that is listed here. I won't bother you by reading it out loud. Between 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern daily online at universalorlando.com or emailing Universal's VIP experience directed email. Pricing, as we mentioned, starts at $59.99 plus tax, and you have to have separate theme park admission with 2 park 1 day park to park because you ride the Hogwarts Express. So, I assume, anyway. So, keep that in mind if you want to do that. All right, now I need to know, did you go get any of these toys?
So I have to confess, I have not eaten McDonald's since the pandemic began.
Wow.
I do not eat McDonald's often under normal circumstances, and I have not had it in almost a year. I went through the drive-through and picked up 2 McNuggets Happy Meals. To be honest, mostly for the fries. I do miss the McDonald's fries, but I wanted to get those toys, and would you guess? We got 2 of the same toy.
Which one did you get?
I got Goofy riding the Runaway Railway, conducting the train.
Of course.
So, which was great.
Yeah.
But I have 2 of them now. Maybe that should be a listener giveaway.
Yeah, that would be fun. For those of you who don't know or are not watching the video version, McDonald's and Disney have teamed up to promote Runaway Railway, it seems, with a toy set. I believe there are 10 or 11 toys in total. And it makes a little train with Goofy at the front in his Runaway Railway run-amok train. And then each train car is inspired by a Disney attraction with all of the Disney friends riding in them. And they're very charming and cute and lots of referencey things that I enjoy. Like here's with Daisy, it's riding Soarin'
Over Epcot.
Spaceship Earth.
That's great.
Mickey in the Hollywood Tower Hotel. Minnie in Dinosaur, all sorts of different Walt Disney World specific attractions, and they're very cute. I saw a few people go to McDonald's and buy all of the toys at one time to connect them all together. I don't think we have a photo of them, but another thing that is happening while these toys are available, I don't know exactly how long, but McDonald's and Disney are giving away 15 Walt Disney World vacations.
Yeah, and I actually think there was a misprint on the date that it runs through. I think it was, this is promotion I think was supposed to come out earlier in the year, because the box that we got had a sticker on it saying, ignore the date expiration that is printed on the ticket. This is actually good for the next couple months. So, yeah, keep an eye out for those.
Are you gonna
I don't really want. I mean, I don't really want to do it to my. The fries are good though.
The fries are
Can
good.
you get a Happy Meal that's just nothing but fries?
No, I think you have to get like apples and a yogurt
They do.
instead.
Yeah, and they didn't even give an option of swapping out the milk or water for a soda like you can at Disney. I don't know. Maybe you have to know the password to get that.
Oh well, I don't know anything about special.
Like
McDonald's.
I said, I haven't been. Yeah, it's not like an In-N-Out. There isn't a animal
In-N-Out.
style.
Oh man, you haven't lived unless you've had animal style fries. But if you get all 10 of these toys, please connect them all together, take a picture, and tweet it at us because I want to see it. More importantly, I want to see if they all roll when they're connected together.
Yeah, mine doesn't really roll all that well. It's it's Goofy. You really can't expect much out of him. He's just not cut out to be a train conductor.
That's okay.
He failed out of engineering school.
Speaking of, have you watched the new Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse cartoons yet?
I saw a few little clips. I there was a viral clip of Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow
Oh,
going
yes.
around.
Where he does his arms all crazy. That whole short is so good, but specifically I want you to watch the Cheese Wranglers one
Okay.
because they do like this. It's a thing that modern, I say modern, but like cartoons that have come out since I was in high school have done, where to add to for comedic effect, they will do like a super zoom on a character's face, and it's
Hmm.
incredibly over detailed and grotesque looking.
See, I associate that with Ren and Stimpy. Like, I
Really?
think that was the first cartoon where I saw
Probably.
that technique being used. Yeah, I totally know what you mean. Where you see all
Yeah.
the pores and the hairs and
Oh, and there's so they do it in the Cheese Wranglers episode, but they're all cowboys that wrangle wheels of cheese. And it like zooms in on Mickey, Donald, and Goofy's faces, and they're like John Wayne'd out, like
Ah,
strong chins and like shadows over their eyes, and they talk like cowboys. It's so funny. You have to watch it.
that's
But
awesome. Is it the same team, writing and directing it that did the previous series of Mickey Mouse shorts, or is it
I think so. The
cool?
voices are all the same because it's not
Awesome.
Red Iwan doing Mickey. It's the Mickey Shorts guy.
Chris, his name
His
is
name
Chris
I can't.
Yananopoulos. A
Yes.
long last name that starts with a Y, which I should be able to pronounce, but can't remember how to.
But definitely check that out because they look like these guys.
Fun. All right.
All right, so you
Here we
alluded to
go.
this earlier.
Yes,
Do you have it with you?
I
The
do. I will,
proof.
I will,
Okay.
I'll pull them out at the appropriate moment.
All right. So for those of you who are not aware, normally on the off years of D23 Expo, the big one, we have Destination D in Orlando. And since this year is, 2020, they moved it online and all the panels were virtual. I think there were maybe two or three that were not available to be viewed by the public and members only, which is pretty cool. And in this specific panel, they talked about Galaxy's Edge merchandise, and I can't tell you how many panels I've seen on Galaxy's Edge merchandise, but they did have some new things to show off. Most notably, I can't believe some of this stuff, man. A wooden Boba Fett doll, a la the Stormtrooper doll that you can already get in the parks.
That is adorable. I do
Dianoga.
that. Now, here's the interesting thing. I had the original Kenner Dianoga toy. If you bought the Death Star playset back in
Ooh.
1979, I guess that one came out. And that was the three levels that you had to assemble by yourself and slide
Oh my
cardboard
gosh.
in with a little. It's awesome. One of the best toys of all time. But the bottom level was the trash compactor, and it came with a bunch of foam garbage and a Dianoga. And it looked absolutely nothing whatsoever like whatever that. Is that supposed to be the Dianoga? That doesn't look. I
It's a
don't. It doesn't look to me at all like what I think it does. We have to consult Wikipedia as to the canon body shape of a Dianoga because I always pictured it more like a Loch Ness monster
exactly
with the
same.
eye up like
Yeah.
on a neck, with a
Like
but
yeah.
and this is more like a
And
Lovecraft kind of octopus
yeah.
thing.
I don't know if this is specifically referencing the one that's in the water fountain at Galaxy's Edge or
It,
not.
it is possible that the Death Star and Galaxy's Edge water processing have two different species or subspecies of Dianoga.
Yeah.
Like I said, we need to consult Wikipedia on this one.
I also want to see this won't be available until this December, but it comes in its own container for safe transport, is what they said.
I
So
hope so.
I want to know what that looks like and if it has water in it. Also, I just get kind of grossed out. You can go back and watch this panel if you would like, but seeing this thing move, it's kind of gross.
Does it blink?
Yeah,
Oh,
it has like a puppet arm in the bottom where you can move the head and blink the
lovely.
eye, but the tentacles are like jiggly. I don't think I like
Do you think
it.
it's like Stretch Armstrong kind of material?
Oh,
Like you could like pull it out and wrap it around. You
sounds like we're gonna have to get one for
or like
science.
those wacky wall crawlers, those sticky
Yep.
octopus things that you throw at the
Mm-hmm.
wall, and maybe it's that kind of material, and you can just like make it cling to your cat or something.
All right.
That
Well,
would be mean. Don't do that to your cat.
no.
No.
Well, we got to get one of these for science.
For science.
For
For
science.
science.
If you are a fan of Star Wars Resistance, which was a great animated show that only ran for two
Rest in
seasons,
peace.
rest in peace, you can get your own CB23 from Droid Depot now. She is limited release, though. So,
Yeah, based on the long line of people I saw on the 17th, the day this was released, waiting outside of Droid Depot, they
oh
could be all
no.
gone by now. I do know there is a member of the Attractions Magazine family, I believe, picked one up. Um,
Yes.
so at least one has found a good home.
Hmm. And she comes with her own personality chip that's authentic to the character in the show. I love CB23, so I hope that they'll bring her back. We shall see.
Do you
They're
think
also
her and BB-8 kind of have a thing?
I see. I don't know.
I mean, I don't want to
It
ship them and force them together against
right.
their consent, but I
Yeah.
think they'd make a good pair.
Yeah.
I think they'd
May
be good to get for
I
each
would
other.
like to see like a little buddy cartoon of BB-8, CB23, and Dio together. Like just the droids episode of Clone Wars. Do you know the one I'm talking about with the
Yes,
frog guy? Just that, but a TV show, like a whole
totally.
show. Yeah.
And they can just speak in droid to each other with no subtitles.
Oh, I love that.
If it's good enough for Wookiees, it's good enough for
That's
droids.
my favorite part of the holidays.
Speaking of which, oh, we've got a couple other
Yes, a
pieces of
couple
merchandise
other
to mention
things.
before we get there. What's it?
Um, if you are a fan of the droids that are outside of Droid Depot, you will soon be able to bring them home with a Droid Factory 5 pack of these scaled figures. I don't know if this came out on the same day as CB23 did. They were kind of vague with some dates and kind of upfront with other dates. So I didn't see anyone post pictures of it online, so I assume it will come later. They gave an update on Cal Kestis's lightsaber.
Ooh,
His was the one that won the poll of which lightsaber would be joining the Legacy Collection next year, and
this
it'll launch in fall 2021.
this is really unique among lightsabers because it's the first one I know of that's got all this kind of battle damage. It's all like kind of exposed, and I'm curious how they did the sculpt of all the frayed wires and bits of
Yeah.
metal, and how durable that's going to be if people are taking them out and swinging them around.
Well, and it's from a video game too, so they don't have like unless they built a physical model
Yeah.
in the development process, like this thing is just a bunch of zeros and ones, you know?
Well, they probably could have like taken the CGI model assets and
Yeah.
sent them to a 3D printer to, get a base to sculpt it off of.
There's one thing that is a spoiler for this game, but I want to
Spoiler
know
alert.
shall I spoil it or shall I keep it to myself?
Go for it. If you haven't played the game yet, don't listen.
Okay, so in the game, his lightsaber, he ends up fixing it to where it's double bladed.
Yes.
Two blue double bladed lightsabers. I wonder if they will sell like an attachment for you to do that with, like the
Oh,
mall. Yeah. They
I don't
haven't
know.
said. I'm not going to assume that they will, but it would be pretty neat if they did. They also said, and this is interesting. So, if you have your eye on some legacy sabers that are currently in stock, you might want to get them now because between now and when the Cal Kestis lightsaber launches in fall 2021, there will be new lightsabers coming out. So, for those of us waiting for Leia's lightsaber or Rey's master saber, all of those, they will might be. I'm not going to say what. They just said new lightsabers will be coming out between now and then. But to make room for those, they will not be making certain other legacy lightsabers, and those will be retired. They haven't said which ones, but to keep in touch with Doc Ondar's staff over at the Den of Antiquities, and they will let you know which ones are being retired.
FOMO. Fear of
FOMO.
missing out. Collect them all.
Oh man, how much would that cost? Too much money.
All right, this is what I wanted to talk about. So, like I mentioned, I got to be there on Life Day. And as we all know, Life Day comes from the infamous Star Wars Holiday Special, which is definitely not canon. In fact, I think George Lucas would like to destroy every copy if he could. But parts of it have been now incorporated into Star Wars canon over recent years. This is the first year I think they've really acknowledged Life Day in Batuu. There wasn't a lot of celebration. There wasn't like a caroling around the tree with Wookiees wearing red robes, singing songs to the Star Wars theme song with Princess Leia looking like she's just done a line of Coke in the dressing room. We didn't get that, but what we did get was an exclusive piece of merchandise available, one per customer. I'm pretty sure they sold out after one day. So this is the Boba Fett. They've had a Boba Fett for a while. It's using the same pattern. But this is the colors of his appearance from the Star Wars Holiday Special cartoon, which is, of course, the best part of the Star Wars Holiday Special. The cartoon is really the only part of it you can actually sit through and watch and be like, all right, that wasn't terrible. I didn't plan on it, but he just had to come home with me because there is not yet a plush Mando doll, and I needed someone to keep my child safe. So they're now friends.
Well, they might be friends one day. You never know what they're gonna do. Gourmanda's canon. I will say that.
Oh, really? The cooking?
Yeah, the stir whips. Yeah, she's.
Well, and the certain point of view book that came out for the 40th anniversary of A New Hope made B. Arthur's character, the cantina bartender canon also.
The Galaxy's Edge cookbook, the one that Cookie wrote.
Yes.
He mentions Gourmanda saying that like he admired her, learned everything he knew from her.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And I don't think it's canon.
Stir, whip, stir, whip, stir.
The Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, which just came out this past week, has Chewbacca's family in it.
It does. They don't, but all right.
But
so
they don't say who it is.
Here's the thing. So we watched it.
Yeah.
You wrote a review of it.
I did.
So tell people what you thought of it.
I thought it was very silly. It definitely wasn't aimed at me. I thought it was kind of weird, to be honest. It was like a little too timey-wimey for me. And I wish that they would have acknowledged like Lumpy.
They have them show up. They have just enough references that are clearly made for old school Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
But the whole tone of the thing was really for little kids.
Yes.
So it was like I didn't feel like it totally satisfied either audience, and like it had just enough call outs to the original holiday special without like you bring in Lumpy and Mala and Itchy but never mention them by name or have them do anything at all.
Yeah, you either know or you don't.
Right.
Yeah.
At least have Itchy put on like a holographic thing and go off to the back room by himself for some private time. And there was no singing. There needed to be a musical number. I mean, you had to have a musical number.
Yeah, and I thought it was just weird to see Rey and Vader lightsaber fighting. The whole like Kylo
it was
dancing.
Like pure weird fan service. I mean, it's like what you do with your toys when you have the toys from all the different movies and you just mash them up and play with them together. I gotta say, I did laugh out loud at the McClunky.
Oh my! Yes, I do. I was like, oh, they did that. Our friend Drew here says
that's a hot take for you. Wow.
He's That is a topic for another day.
That's another argument.
And they also dropped these new lightsaber Savi's Workshop esque merchandise collection with pins, patches, and shirts, so you can show which of the 4 alignments you align yourself with. So that's pretty nifty. So if you end up getting a Dianoga, please post pictures online, preferably a video. I want to see this weird, freaky thing in person.
For sure.
And more D23 Fantastic World Celebration news. They had a panel on Epcot and the future of Epcot and what's going on at Epcot. And the first half of it was okay. It was fine. The second half of it was them trying to sell me a ride that already exists elsewhere and trying to make it sound like it's the greatest thing in the world.
Now, to be fair, very, very few American tourists who visit Walt Disney World have also visited Disneyland Paris. So this is a new attraction to them. Of course, we're talking about the Ratatouille. What is the full name of this? Remy's
Ratatouille Adventure.
Okay. This is the attraction that should have opened by now in France if the world had not all gone to hell. And we're now expecting this to open in 2021. The year is official. Yes. We don't have a month, we don't have a season, but we got a year.
Probably whenever it's safe to do so, I would imagine.
Right. The one thing, they say it's very, very, very similar. They haven't said it's identical. So maybe there's some little bit of plussing that's happening. I hope it's plussing and not removal or cuts.
Oh, yeah.
I do... the biggest concern I have is in Paris, the ride is integrated into the restaurant to the point where as you exit, the finale is kind of seeing people dining in the actual restaurant.
That's cool.
There's no restaurant here in Orlando. So I think it'll instantly take a little bit away from that finale if you're just seeing a blank wall as opposed to a room full of people eating. But you haven't been there to see it, have you?
No. They kind of addressed that in the panel.
Oh, yeah.
Where they talked about how in France they have the restaurant, but they didn't have the space here. There was already 2 restaurants in France, so they did a creperie instead. But they didn't really extrapolate on that, so I don't know if the ride will take you by the creperie or you exit into the creperie.
Instead of exit through the gift shop, exit through the snack bar, exit through the creperie shop.
Hey, I wouldn't write it down.
It might be dangerous though, because if the line moves as slow as the one at the creperie that's at Universal Studios Florida, people will never exit the ride. You'll just be stuck there forever. It's a fun ride. It was basically Disney's kind of scaled down answer to Spider-Man. And I don't think the 3D was as effective as Spider-Man. The screens don't integrate into the sets quite as well, but it's still a solid attraction, and I think especially in Epcot, which needs every ride it can get, it's definitely going to be a big hit. It also looks like that's going to be the only ride we're going to get at Epcot from 2021, right? Because Guardians of the Galaxy, we're pretty sure this is now 2022.
They kept it. I thought it was so funny how they talked about during the panel. They tried to hit a lot of things that we're expecting, at least in the near future. The pylon fountain is supposed to open by year's end this year. And with Remy's Ratatouille Adventure opening next year at some point, they talked about Guardians, but just said, we can't wait to show you more on this attraction in the future. They're how they do things.
We got that look at the testing facility with a little bit of the ride system, and we saw the cars. And we recently saw a photograph from inside the ride show building, basically just showing some roller coaster tracks in a big warehouse.
Yep.
Didn't show any kind of set pieces or projection screens or anything like that yet.
Everyone was debating how long this thing is going to be.
Well, you have to keep in mind that that's not shot wasn't taken from one corner of the building pointing all the way to the opposite corner. That shot was probably taken about in the center of the building, pointing in one particular direction. So there's a lot more in there than what is seen in that one photo.
I want to see some animatronics. Dang it! Let me see something.
I think that if we get an animatronic Groot and Rocket Raccoon for the pre-show, we will be very lucky. I don't think we will see any actual animatronics on the ride itself. I think we're going to see, this is going to be kind of a souped-up answer to Space Mountain. It's going to be projections and maybe a few set pieces, but there's no point in doing another Yeti. They're not going to spend millions of dollars on an animatronic that you go past in half a second and is probably going to break down anyway.
It still gives me nightmares, though. One of the other things that they shared were the barges that will be used for Harmonious, which is no longer Harmony-Us. I would like to point out to you guys.
Oh, they've officially dropped the weird uppercasing.
Yeah, it's just Harmonious now. It has been for a little bit. But these fountains will have an ambient daytime setting. They didn't call it a show per se, so don't assume anything spectacular, but kind of, I take this as a replacement for the Fountain of Nations in a way.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of it that way, but yes, absolutely. Now I'm gonna miss Fountain of Nations all over
I'm
again.
sorry.
No, this is cool. Universal does kind of a similar thing where they use the fountains in the studio's lagoon with like the Jaws music and the Back to the Future music to just do these random shows. They're not on the schedule, so it's great for social distancing. It's kind of thing that you can see from anywhere around the park. I don't think anyone's gonna schedule it into their touring plan, but especially if your kids are not going to put up with staying till closing time to watch a spectacular at the end of the night, this at least you can get a little sample of what the fountains can do during the daytime.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those surprise and delight kind of deals.
Yep.
And then Spaceship Earth will be getting a new lighting package alongside the entrance fountain as well. And those were the highlights of that panel.
Unfortunately, nothing really to mention what's happening in the dead center of the park, where what was Innoventions has basically been torn down. There was going to be a big festival pavilion with an elevated platform built. Not seeing that happening anytime soon.
They didn't even mention it.
I also didn't hear any mention of the Moana water walkthrough.
Nope.
And the other things, we all know, like Mary Poppins ain't happening. That's long dead. Things that you might have hoped for, like Imagination getting a redo.
You get a sweater.
You get a sweater. That's what you get. So, we were gonna get Epcot 3.0. We were supposed to get Epcot 3.0, and now we're getting Epcot 2.1 beta, maybe.
We're still in the alpha. We're not even in the beta yet.
We're still on GitHub. You have to compile this theme park yourself.
Oh my goodness. And the last bit of news in the queue for this week, something that, like Iron Gwazi before it, roller coaster fans have been dying to see this. And while it isn't the real thing, it's still pretty cool.
Hold your face really close to the screen.
Yep. I wonder if you could do VR 180 with it on. I've never tried to. It probably wouldn't look good.
So yes, SeaWorld Orlando puts out this POV for Icebreaker, which is again a roller coaster that should have opened by now. Now it's going to open early next year, assuming they have paid off all their liens to the contractors and all that good stuff. Now, when Iron Gwazi put out their POV, I think everyone kind of pretty much unanimously raved about how cool the coaster looked. Um,
Yeah.
I Icebreaker's not in the same category, and I also don't think the rendering of this POV was quite in the same category. I don't know if they're even using the same software. Maybe one person has a really good modern computer, and the other person was rendering it on an old Commodore 64. I I I don't know. Me personally, I've seen enough POVs and ridden enough roller coasters to sort of get an idea of how it might feel, and this one is not really hitting my buttons. I don't think I'm the target audience, though. I think this is definitely like this is your tween's first launched coaster kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, and there might be some nice airtime in these bunny hills, but this is not an extreme ride. This is not a very aggressive ride at all. Even with the backwards launches, it's yeah, it there's not a lot to it. Um,
Yeah, it's kind of a snooze fest. Though
all right,
that's just
you're being less nice than me, but yeah, you're okay. I'm right there with you.
yeah, and this is just from a rendered POV. It could be totally different on the thing itself, but I just when you think about other coasters like Mako, which is probably my favorite coaster in Orlando right now, until I get to ride Jurassic World Velocicoaster. Um, even that has like the big bunny hill airtime things, and
Hmm.
that is more effective. This kind of looks just like a Slinky Dog Dash if you stretched it out really, really far and
Yeah,
added
with
a backwards launch to it.
yep, yep. And maybe they that hill that you go backwards up to before you go forward, maybe that will feel a lot better in person than it looks. Maybe this POV is just not doing a good job of selling it.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. They put this POV like it's in the middle of Antarctica, and I would like to see how this coaster is really going to interact with the park. It's
Ooh,
right
yeah.
along the water, but there's also buildings on the other side. There's a pathway for people. I think it would have been more interesting to see it in a more realistic setting than this kind of fake video game uh, location that they've done this for. But
Yeah, I think that was one thing Iron Gwazi had going for it was that it
hmm
was the actual
hmm
on the ride
oh yeah,
and
you of
yeah.
course, yeah, you can't beat that. But I've seen plenty of simulations done with like No Limits or even Planet Coaster that look great and
Hmm.
look a lot better than this particular icebreaker POV.
Yeah, when I pulled the video, it only went up to 720.
Ah,
That tells you anything. But that's it for me for news in the queue. And for this week's main attraction, something I did not expect to come back this soon. Park Hopper, y'all. It's coming back January 1st, 2021. Who would have guessed?
I didn't think we'd see it before spring. So yes, I was not expecting that either. Um, it's great news for those of
Yeah.
us who have paid for annual passes that include park hopping that we haven't been able to use. But it's not the park hopping that we used to know. There's some restrictions.
Yeah, this definitely isn't your mama's park hopper. So now you have to go through a process to enjoy more than one park per day. So you sign up for your Disney Park Pass reservation for your first park, just like you normally would. And then you check out the park hopper hours for the second park you wish to visit. It starts at 2 p.m. each day and will end at whatever your second park's closing time is, though that can change depending on the season and how busy things are, et cetera, et cetera. And then after that, you will go to your first park. And then once that 2 p.m. hits, you can go to the second park and you don't have to have a park pass reservation for it.
Now, Can you imagine why they might have picked 2 p.m.? Why do you think 2
Oh,
p.m. might be the magic number at Walt Disney
shucks.
World right now?
Oh, I could it be that that's when the second and final boarding pass time for Rise of the Resistance drops?
Gee, you think?
And they don't want people racing over and crowding Hollywood studios to try to ride Rise because you have to be in the park to book that second one. Hmm.
Exactly. It's going to be really interesting to see what this does, especially for annual pass holders, to park availability for the various parks.
Hmm.
I went ahead and picked up some reservations for myself for this week coming up, and it's Thanksgiving, so pretty
Oh
much
boy.
everything is booked solid.
Yeah.
But you can get Epcot basically any day you want. So it will be interesting to see how crowd patterns change. Right now, 2 o'clock, especially at Hollywood Studios, but at all the parks, after 2 o'clock is when people start to head out. If they're arriving, obviously that's not true at Epcot because Epcot isn't even opening until 11 o'clock or noon. But if you're arriving at, Magic Kingdom or especially Animal Kingdom, Animal Kingdom's opening early, by 2 o'clock you are done with that park.
Hmm.
And so people are leaving. If they can find a way to capture some of their, dining money, get them to stay for another meal or buy some more souvenirs by going to a second park, that's great because they definitely have excess capacity in the last few hours of the day. But they're being real clever by setting that exactly at 2 o'clock because it means you're not going to have any more luck with Rise of the Resistance under this new park hopping scheme.
They knew people were going to try it, and they were like, "You're not slick. We know what you're going to do."
The other interesting thing is that you have to visit your first park in order to be able to then park hop. So I wonder if that is going to lead to people again, since Epcot seems to be the easiest one to get a pass for. Of people just driving up to Epcot, walking in through the entrance, walking right back out the entrance. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I wonder how far people will try to push this since this isn't your traditional park hopping
yeah.
experience. I,
It'll. I'm sure the vloggers will be out in force.
yep.
We'll document it.
Yes.
We'll figure it out.
January
But
1st.
yes, but it also means that if you've got a vacation package where you pre-purchased park hopper tickets, it means those will be valid, those will be honored, and they won't have to refund those. And those of you with annual passes, we did get a bonus, some extra time as compensation for losing the park hopping privileges for a while, and now we have them back in a form. So I guess we're going to have to find something new to complain about. We're annual pass holders, so that's what we do.
Yeah. Well, as an annual pass holder, do you see yourself utilizing this now that you're going to get it back, or are you kind of stuck in your one park, one day ways at this point?
For right now, to be honest, I don't go to the parks for relaxation right now. I go to the parks with a mission. I know I have something I have to report on. I have something I have to see. I get what I need to, and I get out. I don't really linger
I
right
don't
now.
blame you.
So once I get Pfizer or Moderna to stick
Right?
a couple rounds of needles in my arm, and a few million other people get that too, then I will be happy to park hop all day long. For now, I will probably take advantage of it just to test it for journalistic purposes, and then, 4 hours in a theme park at a time is pretty much plenty for me
Yeah.
right now.
You'll have to report back when you enter and then promptly exit Epcot
Yes,
to
to
dip
see what
out and
they
go
exactly.
elsewhere.
See if
But
they
once
set up a special line just for that.
exactly. And once we get immunized, it's over. we're back to normal. I'm just kidding. Probably not. I wish we would be.
I
Though.
don't remember normal anymore. We're gonna have to figure out what normal means.
I feel like I'm gonna have to relearn how to socialize with people outside of my home. Everything.
I haven't hugged anyone but my wife.
Ooh, yeah.
And well, I hugged my dad when I saw him, but we faced opposite directions, and it was very brief.
I can't remember the last time I hugged someone that wasn't in my immediate household. Huh. I haven't thought about that till just now.
And now I just reflexively elbow bump people. Like,
Oh yeah, the
yeah,
elbow
I
bump
don't
because
like.
fist
I'm
bump
not
is
going.
still
I'm not.
too
I'm not.
tactile.
Yeah, it's too close. You never know what you might do. I no. I'm never going back to handshakes. Never.
No, just the elbow. It's cool. Maybe a double elbow. Yeah, double elbow. That's like the new high five. But before we go, I would like to give some listener thank yous. If you don't know,
Yes.
attractionsmagazine.com has a 3-tier subscription service where you can pick the one that fits you best. And if you pick Club or VIP, the week after you subscribe, you get a shout out on the Attractions podcast. So without further ado, big thanks, big applause, big ups to Laura Strickland, Ben Gren, and Frankie Mina. Thank you
Thank
so,
you.
so, so much.
Yay.
Yay! Thank you so much. And if you are interested, you can check out the various tiers and sign up at attractionsmagazine.com/store, where you can also pick up the fall 2020 issue, which is out now, and the winter 2020 issue, the winter spring one, which will be coming out soon. I don't know the exact date just yet, but soon. Are you going to have anything in there this time?
I don't know that I've got anything in this issue, but my best wishes are in it. Psychically. For all our readers.
I updated the coming attractions section. I did like a big overhaul of all of that. You can check it out on attractionsmagazine.com/coming attractions. I reorganized everything by date and then took out all the old stuff and put in all the new stuff. It took quite a while. Moving lots of blocks in WordPress is very time consuming.
Thank you for doing that.
It's just doing my civic duties. Seth, if you would tell the folks at home where they can find you on the interwebs.
You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at @skuberski or at the UG series, and on the web at theunofficialguides.com.
And you can find me at Brittany Tuttle. That's BRITTANITUTTLE. Is spelled funny on Twitter and Instagram. And of course, every day at attractionsmagazine.com, at Attractions on Twitter, at Attractions Magazine on Instagram, and youtube.com/attractionsmagazine, where you're watching this right now while we're recording. If you're here, hi, hello. And until next week, I hope you guys stay safe, wear your mask, wash your hands, but most of all, have fun out there. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.